Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Brothers Discuss. I am Alex.
I am Chris.
All right, Chris. Well, we are in post-Oscar season of the year. It's now come and gone. We're moving on, and now we're talking about what's next. So I think one of the biggest films of the year so far, and frankly, one of the biggest films that's not an already existing film IP, I think it made something like 2 million less than Oppenheimer did in its opening weekend, which is Project Hail Mary. So it's been a really huge hit, which is nice to see that people who don't normally go to the cinema hear that something is good and then go see it. That is just really it's a nice thing to hear that people still do. And I've heard constantly from people that are like, "Oh yeah, like my parents want to see it" and things like that. Then again, I brought up the film to people I work with. They had no idea what it was, so it hasn't reached everyone. But yeah, this has been a very popular film directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, starring Ryan Gosling, about a guy who is a scientist and he's working as a school teacher and then gets recruited for this experiment to try and stop this infection, essentially, that's happening to the sun. And we meet him in space, and his crew have died, and he has to solve this, try and figure out what's happening, essentially on his own, until he meets an alien friend who he names Rocky. Chris, what did you think of Project Hail Mary?
This was amazing. So obviously, like any sci-fi movie is going to get my attention. Especially the book is written by Andy Weir. So I read The Martian back when that movie came out, and currently I'm reading Project Hail Mary.
Okay.
So yeah, I love that style, and it's Lord and Miller. We haven't seen a directorial movie from them since,
I think 22 Jump Street.
yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
But it's great. You know, it's the movie's pretty much, Ryan Gosling's pretty much in every frame of the movie. But he gives a great performance. Rocky is amazing. The visuals are just like out of this world. I was lucky enough, and I didn't know this going into it, but I was lucky enough to see it in IMAX twice. And
nice.
It's 70 millimeter, like the film reel. It's like what they did with Oppenheimer and Sinners, and so like that experience was just so amazing to see.
Yeah. Well, I love this movie. I mean, I've seen it now 3 times in theaters. The first time I saw it, I really, really enjoyed it. I thought, like, what a good science movie. It wasn't a confusing film. I got what the characters were trying to do the whole time. You're watching our main character, Grace, that Ryan Gosling plays, and we're seeing his life. We're seeing how he got to this point of being in space, split in amongst, like, it's non-linear storytelling, but it's split in amongst us seeing him in present time in space. And there was a point where I was thinking, why have they structured it this way? And then the reveal happens, and the reveal really worked for me. I thought that was a really interesting way to get him there. But yeah, then I saw it a second time, and on the second viewing, it was the friendship of Grace and Rocky that really hit me a lot more. And then on my third viewing, again, like, there's a particular scene where Rocky has to save Grace. Like, the sound effects used in the film, like, especially the voice of Rocky, really, really get to me. And it's like, above all else, it's the friendship between the two characters that really hits me the hardest. And for that reason, it's just a super high rating for me. I might actually be seeing it a 4th time.
Yeah, I do want to see it a couple more times before it leaves theaters.
Yeah. So I thought this is one of those films that I think, like, we talk about with older films, like, where new generations just keep rediscovering it and kind of gets remembered as this great film. And I mean, obviously, it's very early days, but I get the sense that this is the kind of film for people, like Interstellar has become that for people, which at the time was not the highest rated film in terms of Nolan's filmography at the time. Like, whatever rating it has in Rotten Tomatoes, it's like in the 70s.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as high as, like, The Dark Knight or something like that. And now, for many people, like, this isn't just me trying to make a fact, but you see it. It's a lot of people's favorite Chris Nolan film, and it really holds with people. Mm-hmm. And I think a big part of that is the father-daughter aspect, like the parent, Matthew McConaughey's character. Like, I get the sense that this film will be that way for other people, like the way Interstellar has been, the way E.T. is, and films like that. So yeah, it really worked for me. Like, it's a big recommendation for me because I thought it was great, and I got to see it on IMAX, which was a really fun experience. And you mentioned The Martian earlier. Like, how do you think this compares to The Martian?
I think I like it more. I don't know. I think the Lord and Miller like charm, it works better for Weir's writing. Um, Nothing against Ridley Scott, and I like The Martian a lot, the film and the book. But yeah, I think like they just have that energy of like just it's fun, it's emotional, it's like it's deep, it's visually impressive, and like that's the Lord and Miller treatment. Like I got a lot of like Lego Movie vibes from this, and like it is PG-13, but like it does feel like family friendly. Like it. I just love the vibes in it.
Yeah. And I will say, I thought this was stronger than The Martian. Like, I mean, the slight criticism I have of the film is some of the comedic moments in the film where I think they're a little unnecessary. Like when Grace advises that he can't even moonwalk when he's asked to go to space. Like, I was a little bit like, that's a little on the too silly for me side for the magnitude of what is being asked. Like, I think maybe it's used as a way to show that he's not taking this very seriously. But I will say, I think one of the scenes from the film that I like a lot is Sandra Hüller. Like we follow, she's essentially the German military person, I suppose you'd say, who hires Grace for this mission based on a paper they had written a long time ago about how life on other planets probably don't need water to survive the way humans do. And when he's testing this thing that's eating the sun, it's made mostly of water, so it proves his whole original theory. Like the one smart thing he ever had, like totally wrong. And that inspires him to want to be part of trying to fix the situation. Like there are these scenes between Sandra Hüller and Ryan Gosling throughout the film where you think that they're potentially going to be romantic with one another, because earlier in the film Grace gets told by the who people online have called strict Asian Obama, Ken Leong's character. To me, he's more like Kid Omega from X-Men 3. But he tells, like, when Grace is asking him, like how can you go into space? Like, it's very brave what you're doing. And he says, well, you're just going to have something or someone you want to fight for. And we learn that Grace doesn't have anyone in his life like that. But you see these scenes where he's kind of becoming more personable with Sandra Hüller's character, and she sings Sign of the Times, which is obviously something that's not in the book and has been a moment in the film that people really like. But then in the end, he does go into space for her because of her, because she forces him, which, yeah, I just thought was an interesting turn of events for the way that I actually thought this was going to go, where he was going to fall in love with her, and that be his reason that he needs to go into space, because we meet the other science person that was going to go, but he was an explosion. So anyway, that stuff for me, like, I really liked. And not only and I've not read the book, so not knowing the story of the book ahead of time, it was fun to watch this and just see it all unfold. And now that I've watched it a few times, just picking up on the little things each time has been really fun. So yeah, like I said, definitely a big thumbs down recommendation for me. I really, really like this. Yeah, so go see it on the biggest screen possible, people. All right, so I guess the next topic we're going to have is talking about trailers, because we've got a bunch of big trailers sort of all at once, it felt like. With like, so I guess first off, we're superhero guys, I suppose. Not that we make it our primary focus of the show, but we got first official trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day. What did you think of this trailer?
This trailer has actually won me over. On like, I was excited for this just because of the ending of No Way Home, where it's like we're finally going back to the roots of Spider-Man, back to basics. But like after the trailer, I'm really intrigued in like where this is going. Obviously you're the Spider-Man guy, you'll talk about it a bunch, but like they're hopefully adapting the Man Spider arc. I want to see Tom Holland turn into a giant man spider. I think it'd be awesome. But yeah, I like the sort of inversion of Spider-Man 2, where it's like instead of like in Spider-Man 2, where it's like his consequences of being Spider-Man affect him as Peter Parker life and he's losing his powers. It's the complete opposite. His consequences of Peter Parker is affecting his Spider-Man life. And now he's becoming more of a spider, and I love that. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say real quick, since it's happening right now. Are you watching Daredevil right now?
I am, yeah.
Okay, cool. You like it?
I do. I like the newer episodes a lot.
Cool. Yeah, so I mean, I the reason I bring that up is just because in this new trailer we can see, like, I can't remember what her exact role is, but she's
It's like
someone that works in
something like that. Yeah.
yeah, that she works for Fisk and Daredevil, like giving Peter the key to the city, and people have sort of talked about that potentially being a spoiler for Daredevil, but I don't know, like I don't know what to make of that, but it's just such a brief moment that I don't really want to spend a lot of time thinking about it. It's just more like, oh, there's a character I recognize from current MCU stuff, so yeah, I don't know if that spoils Fisk no longer being the mayor by the end of Born Again season 2, or if this movie is set before Daredevil is even set. So
Either way,
yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it matters too much whether Fisk is there or not, because it's like Fisk anti-vigilante giving a vigilante the key to the city. It's like you kind of know that he's not part of that equation.
Right. But yeah, this looks great. I'll definitely see this movie. I mean, there are the shots of Boomerang and Tarantula that recreated comic book covers. I think. One thing I do want to bring up is I think the Boomerang shot looks okay, but the shot that looks like the first appearance of Spider-Man, Amazing Fantasy 15's cover, where it's just all gray in the background, it looks like when they were, to me, what that looked like, it was like when they were re-releasing the Raimi films years ago on like DVD, and they just put the bright red Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in front of just like rain in the background. It's like, well, that's not really the aesthetic of those movies. Like, those movies are advertised to be very warm. Like, it kind of looks like that, which is a shame. But that being said, the trailer that leaked months ago also had those shots, and they were very unfinished then. So, like, the shot where he's fighting the Hand was also very different in the original trailers that leaked. So, you know, it could be that they just haven't finished the effects yet, but they wanted to put in this comic booky looking stuff. But anyway, yeah, look, I actually am, like, I have some anticipation for the new Spider-Man film. I hope it's going in a little bit of a different direction with the new creatives on board. And look, if they're doing the six-armed Spider-Man into the Man-Spider stuff, I'm very interested in that because it would be a totally different direction for this character. Mm-hmm. That being said, Jean Grey and all these other things that appear to be in the film are just very confusing to me.
Sure.
So, you know, not that that's been confirmed, but they've certainly not exactly denied it. So, yeah, but anyway, like, we'll see. I have some anticipation for this film. So, Warner Brothers have released a couple of trailers. So we got the Dune 3 trailer. What do you think?
I'm so excited. I love Dune. I love... yeah. This looks great. And I don't have too much to say about it other than, like, one of my friends who's kind of more into the Dune books. I haven't read any of them. It's like... There's a whole series of them. It's not just like 2 books or 3 books like these movies have made it out to be, but this does look like this is it. I don't get the vibe that they're going to go on after Dune 3, which is mostly based off of Messiah.
Right.
So, but I'm fine with that. And so, like, I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, I mean, this looks super interesting. I'm a big fan of the Dune films, and I mean, spoilers for an upcoming segment on the pod, but this is a very highly anticipated film for me. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So the other trailer that Warner Brothers released was for HBO Max, and it was Harry Potter, the TV show. Did you watch this trailer?
I haven't watched it all the way. I've seen like so many clips of it on TikTok. I've pretty much seen all of it, but I'm not super excited, but that's not like an anti-Harry Potter TV show thing. It's just I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan. So,
right, yeah, because, okay, so you're going to be surprised by this, as I've actually not watched this trailer in its entirety either.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
so the reason I bring this up is just because it has become a big talking point online. Like, I don't know if we've ever talked about Harry Potter on this podcast before.
Yeah.
So, like, do you want to give your very brief thoughts on Harry Potter as a whole?
I mean, I like Harry Potter. I'm just not like the biggest fan of it in the world. You know, it's
Right.
um like I've read first three or four books, and I've seen all the movies, and then that's just kind of it. Like I never watched the what were the like prequel movies
The
called?
Fantastic Beasts movies.
Yeah, I didn't see any of those. Like I just I don't care too much about Harry Potter. Like they're just fun wizardy movies, and like that's just kind of it for me.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm a little bit older than you, but Harry Potter was a big deal when I was a kid. So it was hard not to be absorbed by it in some capacity, and I liked it back then. But then I grew out of it. Like that's kind of my attachment to Harry Potter. Like I don't mean to sound mean spirited, everybody. Like obviously we are into superhero stuff. We read comic books. We have excitement for Daredevil Born Again. Like I am not going to pretend to be an adult that's like better than all this shit that's for children. Okay, like we collect action figures. We read comic books, but when it comes to the obsessiveness over Harry Potter, it's just not for me.
Hmm.
My reactions to the Harry Potter show is essentially that it's Warner Brothers trying to up their stock. It's just a decision to get more people to subscribe to HBO Max. Like, I don't know. I just didn't feel anything for this. Like, I guess the big talking point is a lot of people have compared the shots of Ron talking to Harry on the train as compared to the film, and it it just looks like the Dementors got here a couple of films early. Like that's what it
Yeah, that
looks
is
like.
like the one thing that did stick out to me is like it looks MCUified. Like it's just so gray and dull and
Yeah, like when I say it's night and day, like I mean that also means the brightness. Like it's just
yeah,
the characters are like sitting in such darkness and there's all that light coming from the window and I'm like put some of that on the characters, on the actors, please. And
yeah.
I just don't feel anything to see Harry Potter retold again. Like I'm not saying that there's stuff that was missed that could be done well. Like I feel bad for all the actors in this because they're always going to be compared to what came before. But
Hmm.
this is purely something that's there to make more money for HBO Max, and I'm just not there for that.
Hmm.
And these films aren't that old. Like it's like Batman gets rebooted a bunch, right? And like we've loved the most recent Batman reboot. Like whenever they want to tell a good Batman story, I'm always there for it because that's what we're fans of. So again, I need to approach this fairly, but like Harry Potter was such a gigantic success where Justice League and Batman v Superman was not the level of success that Warner Brothers wanted. So hopefully that shed some light there. But like if you make a new Harry Potter thing, and because Harry Potter is one of the most famous IPs in the world, like a ton of people will watch it, and then they'll just keep watching it every year because it's just content for them to watch. And I really hate being the negative person on the show when it comes to this really popular stuff that people are into, but this is what pushes me more and more towards something like Project Hail Mary, which again is based off of something, so it's not totally innocent there. But I get way more interested in something like that, or One Battle After Another, which a lot of people have started watching around Oscars time and then didn't finish because they didn't like one of the characters in it. And it's like, okay, there's your problem. Here's this original story that is really gripping, and people have judged it before even finishing it, and that just makes me sad. So I don't know what kind of tantrum I'm sort of throwing here, but I'm not watching the Harry Potter thing. I just think it's insulting, and if you are a fan of just the world of Harry Potter, like I'm surprised you'd be genuinely excited for it. I guess one final note on Harry Potter.
Okay.
One of the things I know is that a lot of people still watch the movies because, to me, they're relatively timeless. Like certain films, like Jurassic Park or Back to the Future, like those are films that exist forever and don't need updating. I mean, although obviously Jurassic Park has a ton of sequels now, but you can go back and watch them anytime, and they just feel differently to a lot of other classic films, and like they just continue existing for different age groups. And Harry Potter fits that for me. Obviously, it's not set in present day in terms of when the films were released, but I think the effects are still pretty good. I mean, obviously, the effects in the first couple of films or in the first film is a little bit dated, but I think the effects in the second film are actually very good. So, yeah, to me, it's not something that needs updating or anything like that for a new audience, like the way some effects might look dated and like an old Batman film versus what they can do now. But again, I think it's just my frustration with the studio system where Warner Brothers had a very strong year in film and then will make something like The Pit, which, has grasped a lot of people. It's like we always have Harry Potter in our back pocket. When we started making new original stuff, people weren't as on board with that, so we just got to go back to the old stuff, the existing stuff, and just recast Harry. So, like, we're in this weird period now where we have a generation of people that are super nostalgic for 2000 stuff. I've seen this push for people. Recently, they announced this live action Scooby Doo series that's coming to Netflix. They've revealed I think the new cast for those characters, and I've seen so many people, maybe people younger than you even, that are like, why don't we just bring back the Scooby Doo live action movies? And the difference between that is Scooby Doo as a brand wants you to be focused on the brand itself. It doesn't want you to be nostalgic for a specific interpretation of Scooby Doo. The movies just want you to think of Scooby Doo the brand. It's the same thing with Ninja Turtles. But anytime you see any merchandise of Ninja Turtles, where you see Gen X guy wearing a T-shirt that says '80s rock, and it's got a picture of the cartoon Ninja Turtles. It's not gonna, even though we had a new Ninja Turtles cartoon in 2003 or 20 in 2010s. Anytime we see merchandise for the Turtles, it's always going to be the classic '80s stuff. So it's the same thing with Scooby Doo and Harry Potter, the big film franchise of the 2000s being brought back with new actors, and then on the Marvel side, it's we're bringing back the X-Men, and it's old ass Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, James Marsden, all these people, and Hugh Jackman coming back for Wolverine and what have you. It's weird. We have this going on twice, but in two different ways. One is a reboot, one is bringing back actors. And I mean, 2000s nostalgia is weird because everyone is, I want to say, young enough that you can still use them, but because the Harry Potter cast members are kids, you gotta recast them. Mm-hmm. So, those are my thoughts. Do you have any final thoughts on Harry Potter?
On a trailer you didn't even watch.
No, I just have a lot of thoughts on this show, and that's not even getting into the J.K. Rowling of it all. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot. Look, because of that alone, there's plenty of reasons not to get into Harry Potter right now. I mean, I got out early. That's all I can say about that. Anyways, I suppose we can now move on to the main event of this episode. So, what we thought we'd do in this episode, now that we're well and truly into 2026, is to talk about each of our top 5 most anticipated films for the rest of the year. So with apologies to 28 Years Later and other films that have already come out, we are jumping into essentially the rest of the year, because now we're getting into the big films of the year that are due to come out starting in April. So we're talking about our top 5 most anticipated films of the year for each of us. But first, do you want to give your 5 honorable mentions?
Yeah, so this a couple of these are kind of cop-outs because you mentioned it earlier, just the rest of the year. Project Hail Mary would have been in my top 5 had we done this a couple months earlier. That and Send Help. I don't know if that would have been top 5, but that definitely would have been one of my most anticipated movies. Other honorable mentions, let's see. Doomsday I have up there. It's not my top 5, but I'm curious about it. I'm excited for it. Supergirl is an honorable mention. Just a couple ones. The drama is out right now. I do want to see that because I like the director of it. That's 5 right there. But yeah,
there you
go.
go.
Honorable mentions.
All right. So of course I'll go through my honorable mentions real quick. Of course, I'm very interested in seeing Avengers Doomsday. We don't know a lot about the film yet, but I can't sit here and say that seeing Cyclops blasting off into the sky isn't something that tugs at my young heartstrings. It's a big Avengers film. Those are fun. So the next one I have is Clayface, because
I forgot that was coming out this year.
I am just so fascinated by this being made into a feature film and being essentially our first look at the Batman side of things for this James Gunn DCU, and it's written by Mike Flanagan, which is someone who I also enjoyed the work of, so I'm interested in that. One that I am looking forward to is Coyote versus Acme. This is a movie I would have seen no matter what, just because I am a Looney Tunes fan. But now it does have that sort of baked-in history of being shelved and then saved and all that stuff. So, not to say that seeing or not seeing a movie makes you a good or a bad person. I don't think that's the case. That being said, there has been such a stink about this movie getting released and all that stuff that I'm fully expecting this movie to flop, because words on the internet do not translate to ticket sales. But I really enjoyed the last Looney Tunes movie that came out last year, The Day the Earth Blew Up. That was a straight up Looney Tunes cartoon, and I know this is like a live action hybrid in the vein of Back in Action and Space Jam and such, but it looks more like a Looney Tunes type movie and more like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit versus Space Jam, which was a commercial for like products and celebrities. Another honorable mention, fourth one, I wanted to mention Disclosure Day, because I have a lot of anticipation for a Steven Spielberg sci-fi film, so I'm excited about that. And then my final honorable mention, Godzilla Minus Zero, because I love the last Godzilla Minus One. I'm very interested to see what they do there, because not that I think that film needs a sequel, but just the idea of those guys tackling Godzilla again is just very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now let's get into the nitty-gritty here. What is your number 5?
My number 5 is Brand New Day.
Okay.
We already kind of talked about it, but yeah, the trailer definitely made it creep up a bit, because like I'm genuinely excited for it now. So
very nice. All right. Well, a film that I guess I'm more curious about more than anything is The Social Reckoning. So,
oh yeah, it's the sequel to The Social Network, right?
Yes, this is the sequel to The Social Network, but it's not Fincher and it's not Eisenberg, but it is Aaron Sorkin, who, writing-wise, is not everyone's cup of tea, but I really enjoy personally, and directing-wise seems to be its own problem. So, like I said, it's a sequel years and years later, and it sounds so strange. It's like, why make this movie? Like, I get what they're making it about because of everything that's happened with social media and Facebook, especially in the last several years, but like, why? And so I have to see this. I have to see this movie and see what's happening. So that's my number 5. Now, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is Werewolf, new David Eggers film, which
I should have had this on my list.
Yeah,
oh man, I feel bad for not having this.
We don't really know anything. We don't have a trailer, I don't think. But
we just know the cast, really, and it looks like it's the same cast as Nosferatu.
Yeah, and David Eggers like knocked it out of the park with that. So like I'm so excited for this.
Oh man, I feel bad for not having it on my list. All right, so my number 4 next on my list is Digger, from the filmmaker that brought us Birdman and The Revenant and Babel. This is Tom Cruise. I think in a year's time, when we're talking about the Oscars, we'll be talking about Tom Cruise again. But yeah, he seems to be a very successful businessman or something, and the teaser trailer doesn't give us a lot, but he's digging a hole. And yeah, I'm just very interested in what this film is, because there are already some marketing out there for it, which don't tell us a lot, but based on the filmmaker and the lead, as well as a lot of the cast in this, Sandra Hüller, Jesse Plemons, John Goodman, Sophia Wilde, Riz Ahmed, Michael Stahlberg. Like, there's a lot of good people in this, so I'm very interested in this film. All right, now, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is Disclosure Day, you talked about earlier.
Okay.
I thought the trailer looked really solid. Good old-fashioned, like you said, is Spielberg sci-fi, so yeah, I'm excited.
There you go. My number 3 is Dune Part 3. I mean, these movies are great. Like, it shouldn't be a super surprising thing to say that I'm excited for the next Dune, because I love the first two. Just very interested to see what happens with the next one. Like, I'm not super familiar with the source material, so I am largely going into these films kind of blind to what's going to happen. And for right now, because I'm enjoying these movies, that's how I prefer it to be. Like, I can read the books at another time with all due respect to the books, but yes, I am very excited for Dune Part 3. When it comes to picking that or Doomsday to watch, we will see which one we watch first. I don't really know. Maybe I'll just have to take that day off work or something and figure it out.
Whichever one's an IMAX, which looks like Dune's winning that battle.
There we go. All right, now the final two. What is your number two?
My number two is Dune Part 3. So, there you go.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll get to my number two. So the second last one on my list here is The Adventures of Cliff Booth. So like the teaser that they released during the Super Bowl, like I thought was super entertaining. And I loved how they blocked out the nudity or the smoking or anything like that. Like I thought that was amusing, but it's also not something that we've had like, officially released yet in terms of the trailer. So like what we have going around on the internet is like a recording of a recording. Like it's people talking about how it's so dark and it's so blurry. Like yeah, as if the film is actually literally blurry. But I'm very interested in this. Like there's plenty of reasons to be angry at Quentin Tarantino. I'm surprised that so many people have only discovered this in recent times. But the fact that he's written something that David Fincher is directing, again, I'm just very interested in that. And it's a character that I think you can do a spin-off for, where I wouldn't really be as interested in this if it was about Rick Dalton, like the character that Leo played. So the fact that this is Brad Pitt's character, I'm quite interested in, and it's got a very strong cast, and I love Fincher's work. So this was a no-brainer for me. All right, let's get to our number one, which I think come on, do you know what kind of podcast you're listening to? I mean, come on, what else was it gonna be? You know what we're gonna pick here. You know, I was like, I can't just have The Odyssey at number one. It's so obvious. And then I put the list together. I'm like, man, it's so obviously number one. There's nothing else I'm more excited for. And it's, yes, of course, it's The Odyssey. The new film directed by Christopher Nolan. I'm very excited for it. Like, this isn't another case where we can look up the story for The Odyssey. We generally know the main points of it, but it's just something that I'm very interested to see this filmmaker put his work into. Mm-hmm. Like Nolan's films always interest me. It sounds like the stereotypical thing to say that he's the best filmmaker today or whatever. It's the obvious thing, but he puts out films that become event films. Like, and this I think is his highest budget so far for a film.
Mm-hmm. I will say it is interesting because when I watched Hail Mary in IMAX, I saw the 10-minute preview that they have for the Odyssey, which is bizarre to me because it's like Nolan is I've always known him for like his teasers and his trailers. They're like they tell you next to nothing about the movie. The possible exceptions are probably like his Batman movies, but like and so it's interesting to see him like go a full on just preview of the Odyssey, but it's like, well, you can only see that in theaters. It's not like he posted that on YouTube or anything. It's great. So yeah, I love that and I think with the subtext of the Odyssey, it's like that grand nature of it. Like I'm so excited for it.
Yes. So just for the record, for people listening, we've actually kind of talked offline about potentially doing what Red Letter Media have been doing with some filmmakers, where they rank a filmmaker's entire filmography, and we were toying around with the idea of doing that for Nolan. So that's something that, I mean, we put it out there now, so I guess we got to deliver on it.
Yeah, now we have to. Do we do it? We would do it after the Odyssey, I'm assuming.
I was thinking before, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we could do it before.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll try to get that done maybe June-ish or so.
Okay.
So hopefully we can get that done. So yeah, I'm quite excited for that. I also at some point I do want to do the same for like David Fincher's films as well.
Okay.
Because that's the tough thing with those films is like, how do you rank them when I generally love all of his movies? So. Yeah. For both Fincher and Nolan. Well, I mean, with Fincher, there's Alien 3, which would obviously be at the bottom of the list. But, you know. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the episode. Be sure to tell us what you're excited for film-wise. What do we miss? Why aren't we excited for... Why am I not more excited for Spider-Man or something? But But no, I'm interested in new Spider-Man. Jean Grey's in it or something. Chris, where can people find you online?
You can find me over on Instagram and Letterboxd.
Yes, I'm there as well. I'm also on Blue Sky. Check me out there. And I'm also the video editor for Amazing Spider Talk, so be sure to follow the show wherever you get your podcasts. My work will be there. And that is about it. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.